You are listening to part 3 of episode 22 of the Psychotherapist Podcast. In this part of the episode, Dr. Bob and I discuss different developments within the podcast itself, social media marketing strategies, how to be rich and popular and successful like I am. Just look at the view count. If you're on YouTube, just look at the view count. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And we end our discussion, which will lead into part 4, with I wish I had a porno music drop. Alright, I'm dicking around. Part 3, Psychotherapist Podcast. We love you. We hope you enjoy it. Peace. Alright, we're back.
Okay, and I like that, breaking up the podcast into shorter chunks or sessions. And as I said to you the other day, I tell people that you just, when it stops, you just have to start it over again for if you listen to part 1, you go to part 2, you just have to pick it over and start it up over again, which is no major issue. Just takes another second or two.
Yeah, so I've actually done a little bit of exploration because there are things I can do on the channel since I'm in charge of it, to associate certain keywords with just searching our channel in general, and that was stuff I didn't even was really even aware of or thinking of until very recently. So I've done a few little things to at least hopefully make us a little easier to find. Not even necessarily expanding our audience. It's just I've had complaints and I've had issues myself where I type in the Psychotherapist Podcast and I get all this bullshit before I get to what I'm looking for.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm working on improving that, and I think I'm having a little bit of success so far.
Okay, great. It's a work in progress. And I was encouraged to hear that we picked up some additional subscribers this week.
Yeah, man. So it's pretty interesting to me because I'm trying to leverage the social media stuff both to not only cultivate an audience, but a personal friend group, a network, the way I think of it, Bob. And even back when I was a rapper, back when I was, remember that when I went through my little Eminem phase?
Yeah.
It was so cute, but when
every white suburban adolescent goes through that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's part of a rite of passage.
But I did it better. I took it further than others. I had my mixtapes and everything, but anyway, so even back then I had an attitude where it's I understood there were different levels of quote unquote success, fame, money, whatever. And I always had the attitude, and I carry this I think today, where I would rather have 10,000 or 100,000 super cool people that subscribe to my shit, that understand what it's about, that dig it, that feel it, that get something out of it, than just a million people who will just take a little taste every now and then, and the second a scandal or something comes up, they'll just believe everything and the whole company will get thrown over. It's kind of an attitude where it's more I want to build a product more than I want to focus on selling it, because once you get it to the point where it speaks for itself, bro, it's just a matter of time. And if you just put some effort into talking to some people, whether it's online, in real life, on the Bumble app, as I've been doing, you can find like-minded people who will feel it,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly how you do that, but I agree with the concept.
So
you don't have the technical skills to do it.
Yeah, so I would just explain one way how I've leveraged it, and I might fucking cut this part out just because I don't want to reveal tricks of the trade, but...
Okay.
So there was a libertarian podcast where they were talking about Joe Biden smoking pot, and...
Is it a joke?
No, it was they are both technically comedians, but one of them is actually seriously thinking of running for president in 2024. Dave Smith. I would vote for.
Okay.
I would vote for him in a fucking heartbeat. I don't agree with everything he says,
okay.
but he's not a psychopath, and that's the key thing.
Yep.
But
can you imagine that? Yep.
But he made a, the whole podcast was because he made an appearance on Fox Business where someone attacked him and just went nuts while they were talking about the issue of Biden and pot. And Dave Smith was making all these really astute, insightful points about how Biden was like to the right of Reagan in the like 80s, and he teamed up with I can't remember the name right now, but some segregationist to be like say Reagan was a pussy on crime, and he authored the crime bill, and he's the biggest influencer who's still around today, and all these really insightful points or whatever. And this fucking DNC hack was just like, well, Biden has evolved on this issue. And he just starts launching into personal attacks and just screaming and complete nonsense. And maybe I'll be able to insert the clip, I don't know. Or maybe you can find it, but I'll send it to you later. But
okay.
They spent like an hour podcast breaking all that down. And one thing I think I noticed about how just like leveraging YouTube comments can help is one being first. So there are live premiere podcasts that are like, okay, at 2 o'clock it starts, and I just watched that shit, got 5 minutes into it before I make a comment, because sometimes if I do where I make a point, I'll listen to the rest of the podcast, and if they make the same point, I'll just delete the comment. Like, for example, I swear to God, I listened to a Ben Shapiro episode, and like 10 minutes in I pause it, and I'm like going through comments, and I put one thing like, well, why is so and so this and this, and then I respond, because feelings don't give a shit about your facts, bro. And I thought I was inventing that because Shapiro always says facts don't care about your feelings. And then I keep playing the video, and then 5 minutes later he's like, this is because feelings don't care about your facts, folks, okay? And I was like, son of a bitch. So I just deleted it because I felt like a hack. But I made a point of just how Biden fired a bunch of staffers for smoking pot a few months ago.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, so the idea that he's evolved on the issue is just laughable. And I mean, I just make this one basic point, but it got a lot of likes. And I've made top rated comments before. It's not something I keep that close an eye on, but if people respond to it, then I'll actually look and see, like, go back at the comment and see if anyone liked it or not, because generally I expect no one to. Like, I just don't obsess over it that much, but I saw it as an opportunity because I thought I made a good point, and other people were grateful because other people were like, I didn't know that, or like you said, like, I didn't even hear about that. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, look at this article. And I just decided to use that moment to just kind of plug my shit and be like, by the way, if you happen to like this podcast, the Part of the Problem podcast, the Dave Smith one, you might like mine. It's not a my comment was like, it's not 100% political, I'm paraphrasing, but a lot of my mental health depends on ranting about how the commies are taking over America, so I know my audience, and I think I got some subscribers off that comment, because it's, I saw a response this morning and it got like 80 likes. So I think that's actually a powerful little tool you can use to connect if you're, one, on it first, like you get in early. Two, you make a good point no one else makes, or you something up really well. Three, someone responds to it, so it gives you an up, because I never thought to just plug after making that point, like, here's my point about Biden and pot. Oh, by the way, here's my podcast. Because that just would feel weird and like staged to me, but people were responding and shit, and I just thought, use the opportunity to just be funny, throw a little charm, and then just plug in the pod just to anyone who fucking wants to see it. So I got, the next day I got 3 fucking new subscribers and some extra listens and stuff. So
nice.
I think that's a good strategy, as long as like I said, it has to be at certain opportunities. I don't think it's something I would ever force, you know?
Right. You
But
also have to, it sounds like you also have to be alert and kind of paying attention.
you have to see how people respond, because
all a matter of timing, isn't it?
yes, and it's also just depending on how like the market responds, because even if you make the greatest point in the world, if no one like is liking it, no one's seeing it, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
if you get something and it gets a lot of likes really quickly and people are commenting and just like, you know, making a thread conversation out of it, within that thread, I think you can use a lot of opportunities to plug your shit.
Okay, I follow you.
Yeah. But obviously you got to make a really good comment and it's got to be popular, so it's not
Exactly.
yeah, so it's a challenge. But the other strategy, and it's not something I've taken as far as like, I haven't really sent our podcast to anyone, but I've been talking to a few bros on the Bumble BFF, and I feel like it's a way more open network, because let me just put it this way, Bob. Literally I switched to BFF mode and the next day I didn't even do that much to my profile. I had like a couple pictures and maybe like one little prompt or whatever. And I got over 50 likes. And I'm like,
Wow.
damn, this must be how a hot chick feels.
So you're basically now you shifted over conversationally to your dating apps, your dating stuff now, right? Correct?
Yeah, because Bumble has different they have 3 modes to network on. So you can use a dating mode, which is what I had been using for months. You can use a kind of career networking. What's it called? It's like
LinkedIn.
exactly. It's kind of like a LinkedIn mode, and there's just a BFF mode. If you just want to, you know, part of the Bumble thing is that they allow you to put badges for like causes, so I think it incentivizes a lot of like radical fucking groups to meet each other and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny just because with the BFF mode, for one thing, it's exclusively dudes, so it does not offer me any chicks to be friends with. It does not allow me to have female friends. But that's okay. Maybe if I change my gender
It
on.
can happen, right? I mean, you can.
Nah, dude.
No?
I've done some swipes myself. I have seen who. I haven't like seen all the likes or responded to a bunch of them or anything, you know, because I'm not gonna talk to literally everyone. I don't have time. But
Right.
it's all dudes, bro. I have not seen one chick out of like, let's just say at least 100 profiles, or around 100 profiles I might have seen so far, or have seen me.
What's your explanation for that?
It's BFF mode.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just how they push the algorithms. But it's interesting because there's a mix of like, I think people like me who are legit just kind of like isolated and just like, fuck it, man. We have the internet. Let's just talk with people
Right.
and see what's going on. You know?
So they find they find their niche, and that niche could be people like you, or you know, sitting at home at the moment listening to this particular podcast or whatever, and it's right up your alley, and you feel like you have something to say or whatever, so you comment, right?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I mean, it also has to be that you're talking about finding a certain niche of people who want to communicate with others, and find maybe common ground around which to do that, subject matter or whatever.
Yeah, and with the BFF mode, there's a lot of ways you can signal that, or signal what you would want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like kind of icebreaker kind of shit.
Okay.
And the dating app has the same stuff, but they'll tweak what kind of, say, questions you can put an answer to in your profile or whatever. So,
Okay.
but yeah, there's a mix of like, I think people like me who are a bit isolated but just happy to just talk with different people and see what's going on in the world. And I've noticed a lot of both single gay men and couples that want to meet a lot of guy friends.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that's an orgy thing. I don't know. I haven't really spoken with any couples or anything yet. But,
Yeah.
it's just something I could not help but notice.
Yeah, you have to get good at that. You have to, to kind of realize, is this person really, are they moving into a sexual arena, or are they doing this for the reason I'm doing it? Do you find that? You ask yourself sometime?
I think it's with BFF mode. I think it's it's kind of borderline, but it's not really like in my face. It's not like I'm seeing all these dick pics and like, hey guys, meet us at the 69 bar.
Right, exactly.
So
It's
I
good
I
fun.
can only speculate so much on people's intent,
Yeah.
but I do think whether you are just a couple or a single gay guy, just I think some people just like hanging around with dudes, period. There are heterosexual women that just like hanging around dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So
And,
and I've also noticed there are a lot of masculine gay dudes too.
okay.
Athletic, good looking guys. I date them.
Yeah. And some people see things only, for instance, through a sexual lens.
Oh
And
yeah.
the first introduction to using the internet was, basically sexual. Looking up sexual stuff or
Oh
pornography,
absolutely.
whatever.
Oh
So they.
dude, I was in that weird inflection point with like early internet, and my
Yeah.
first ever experience seeing like basically porn on the internet was totally by accident,
Yeah.
and I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Because we had to type in like I guess there was some medieval city called like Zara or something, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
as we were searching for it, there just happened to have been a porn star with the same name,
Yeah.
and I happened to have been sitting with a tutor at the time.